Okay, so this is about as close to Apple getting as far as turning around their whole slowing down iPhones, and also I'm really glad to be back on camera. And so, what's going on today? Well, Apple CEO Tim Cook, I believe this video came out yesterday. He did an interview with ABC News, and he said in a future iOS update, users can choose to disable the phone's feature that slows itself down to compensate for the battery diminishing. And so the update will first go out to developers as part of I'm guessing a beta release in February, and will be released to the general public thereafter, which I'm hearing from one of the articles I use as sources that will be sometime in March. I was kind of hoping Apple would come out with this a bit sooner since this is such a PR disaster, but okay, they're coming out with this update that could disable this feature, which I really just find astounding that, a feature like this can just be just turned off like a light. So, but in either case, I think it's a really good thing that they're going to let users have the ability to turn their phones off, especially if their phones are operating just fine. It's so weird because I know this YouTuber who I won't mention since he has a really hateful following for really ridiculous reasons. He said that his fiance's kid has an iPhone 6s and it would just randomly shut off. Or it was either, I think it would like randomly shut off, or it would just be incredibly slow. And it really does sound like, since I didn't hear about a battery problem, it sounded like this was a case of an iPhone 6s just shutting itself off because of this feature. And so far, even though I'm pretty sure the update has rolled out for my iPhone SE, I can tell you that the phone has slowed down quite a bit. However, the battery life is still just as good as when I got it out of the box little more than a year ago. So, I got my iPhone SE. I believe it was the Christmas of 2016. I remember it was still $450 for 64 gigabytes. And just the whole thing, like the idea of the smartphone battery dying within 2 years of first getting it, to me that's kind of a precaution to keep in mind since batteries don't last forever. But in my opinion, that's more of a precaution rather than a fact, especially if you're cool with having your smartphone kick around for a few years, even after the 2 years where people usually upgrade. Because if you look at like my Nexus 5X I've got here, it's still operating just fine after I got this in the end of 2015. I got this pretty close to when it came out, and the battery's still even though the battery life on the Nexus 5X has never been really good, it's not like the battery has started to diminish just yet. I'm well aware that it could happen in a few years. And really, the only mobile device I had that kicked the bucket after a couple years was actually my first Android phone, which was the LG Ultimate 2, which I believe came out in 2014. But at the same time, I have owned other mobile devices that have lasted even longer, like the iPod Touch 5th generation and my first generation iPad, and even like my PSP, which I believe I got back in like I think it was late 2011s, and the battery life is still just as good as when I first got it. So yeah, I think this feature is really going to help out people, especially if their iPhone batteries aren't dying. This is a really welcome feature to have. It'll be interesting to see, like, I kind of have a feeling most people affected by this update are having a situation like mine where the performance of the iPhone is slowing down, not in a detrimental fashion, but it's definitely noticeable. So I would be willing to test it out on my iPhone SE, because if turning off this mode will make the phone perform quicker, and it won't kill the battery, or at least it won't make the battery diminish quicker, then it's really going to show that the update that Apple put, where they drained the batteries to compensate for performance, was out of planned obsolescence. And the funny thing is that Tim Cook, he kind of tried to put the blame on users. He said on the ABC interview, "Oh well, I don't think the users really read into the list of features included in the iOS update where we started to slow down phones." I did try to look into, I believe Apple said that for the iPhone 7 line, they started doing these slowdowns with iOS 11.2, and I didn't even see something, because I know Cook said, when he said, no, customers didn't really look into it. Usually when they release iOS updates, particularly the minor ones, they usually just use very generic terms like, this update is to improve stability and performance. I mean, obviously, and then he said, but maybe we weren't the best at communicating with our customers, which, obviously they're not going to, spill out, we're slowing down your phone to compensate for battery and for planned obsolescence. So, yeah, so I think it was, it really took, who was it that, God, I forgot who it was that actually discovered it, but yeah, it took somebody, to find out, they were slowing down iPhones, starting with the iPhone 6 and going forward to compensate performance, and it was a sort of planned obsolescence. So, I think it's a really good thing that they're coming out with an update to slow down. Not slow down, that's not good. I mean, let users choose whether to slow down iPhones or not. Now, I'd just like to see if Apple could come out with a phone with a battery where I really wish, since, like I said, I've owned devices that have lasted for, well over the usual 2 years. I really wish they would, come out with a phone that said, hey, this battery lasts for 3 years plus. But given that they will release iOS updates usually for at least 4 to 5 years after the device came out, like the iPhone 5S came out in 2013, and I'm suspecting that 2017 was the last year that it will receive updates. So it would be really nice if, Apple could come out with a phone where they said, hey, this battery will last for a substantial amount of time. Will they do that? I'm not really sure. I kind of feel like this would actually be a good time to release a phone and take advantage of the controversy. But we'll just have to see. But I think for now, that's kind of wishful thinking. So, alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.